Are you feeling in the Christmas spirit yet? Well, if you're not, a good book might put you in the Christmassy mood. So I thought I'd share my Christmas to be read pile. It's quite a big pile. Obviously, I don't expect to get through them all by the end of the year. And on the 1st of November, I always start a Christmas book because I think it's a good way to, like I say, put you in the mood for Christmas. Not that it takes much to put me in the Christmas mood. I love Christmas, and I usually start thinking about my to be read pile in about October, and then I get all my Christmas books out and pick out which ones I fancy reading. So the first one I'm reading at the moment is one that I actually started last year because it's a collection of short stories, and it's called Murder for Christmas. I like murder mysteries, particularly set around Christmas and big events, because I think it adds another dimension. Also, the stories in this book are by quite famous authors, including Agatha Christie, obviously the Queen of Crime, Arthur Conan Doyle, A.A. Milne, Charles Dickens, Dorothy L. Sayers. So you've got quite a good collection of authors there who are going to provide you with some great stories. I am halfway through, and so far I've only skipped one story because I just couldn't get into it. I used to be one of these people who had to finish a book that they started, but quite frankly life's too short, so if I don't feel so, then I won't read it. It doesn't happen very often, thankfully, and you'll see that in this one I've got 2 bookmarks. That is basically so that I know how much longer I've got to go on a story, and then if I'm reading, say, late at night, and I can easily see if I'm going to have enough time to finish it before I need to probably think about laying down. Although, to be honest, I never really take any notice, because if I want to finish something because it's that good, then I will. And secondly, another guilty pleasure, it is Mills and Boon. I know they're cheesy and trashy and whatever you want to say about them, but when you think about it, Christmas is pretty cheesy now, and they're really easy books to read. I wouldn't tend to read them any other time of year, just around Christmas, because they feel like I can't get into them at any other time of year. I've got 3 of the complete novels here, and this one is The Mistletoe Kiss. I think they're probably quite old-fashioned. I'm just judging that by the cover, which I know you shouldn't do, but... And this is a medical romance one, A Christmas to Remember, and another medical romance, The Perfect Christmas. Now, the medical thing I'm a little bit dubious about, because it's not something I love at all, but I'm guessing that there won't be much medical referral in it. It will be more romance, or at least I hope so. These ones I actually bought from a really excellent bookshop down in Somerset. It was a huge barn. It was called the Book Barn, and they just had hundreds and thousands of books. Unfortunately, I think it's closed down now, but it was fabulous. You could actually take your own books in. They would sell them for you. You'd get a certain percent. You could buy books there. So yeah, it was great. It was a shame to lose it. This is another Mills and Boon. It's 3 stories, 3 short stories. I haven't read any of this one yet. I'm thinking that it may be a little bit more modern just because of the cover. Again, I'm judging the book by its cover. This one I have started. It's called Christmas Journeys, and it's very much what you'd expect from Mills and Boon. I've read 2 of them, and they've both been very much along the same lines. The first one, I really enjoyed that one, actually. It was set on a train, which I think adds another part to the story, rather than just setting it in a home or static place. And obviously there's other people around, and they're all there for their own reasons, so that did add something nice to it and a little bit different. And the second one, to be honest, I don't remember much about that. I read both these last year, So the fact that I can't remember much about that one probably says that it wasn't as good. I've still got 2 more to go, Mistletoe Kisses and Christmas Charade. So we'll wait to see what those are like. Next one is back to my Murders at Christmas. This is Dying for Christmas by Tammy Cohen. And I bought this last year, didn't get around to reading it, but it jumped off the shelf at me because it says Misery meets Gone Girl. Now, I absolutely love Misery, the film. I don't love Misery. And as I said, that was what made me buy it. I'll just read the back to you because it's pretty clear how it's going to go, but it looks like it's going to have a nice twist. I am missing, held captive by a blue-eyed stranger. To mark the 12 days of Christmas, he gives me a gift every day, each more horrible than the last. The 12 days getting closer. After that, there'll be no more Christmas cheer for me, no mince pies, no carols, no way out. But I have a secret. No one has guessed it, will you? So I think that sounds like it's got a good, unusual twist to it, I hope, anyway. This next one is by one of my favourite authors. It's Katie Ford. And this is A Christmas Feast and Other Stories. It does say it's got an exclusive sneak preview of her new novel. That's probably irrelevant because I bought this last year. So I've read quite a few of hers. I do enjoy them. They're an easy read. They are chick lit, but that doesn't bother me. I read a book because I like it. It doesn't really matter what genre it fits into. If I like the author, I like the sound of the story, I will read it. So this is short stories. There's quite a few in there. I'm particularly looking forward to reading From Scotland with Love. It's actually laid out like a menu, so hence the feast. The next one is by a favourite author of mine again, although ironically I haven't actually read any of her books. I've listened to them on audio, and I think she writes excellent characters. She creates a real community sense around her characters, and this one is called Angels at Christmas, and I haven't read it yet, so I can't tell you that much about it, but like I say, I always enjoy her books. I'm expecting this to be typical Christmas, probably a bit of hardship, and then, you know, it's all a happy ending, which is what we want at Christmas, surely. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And then I've got 2 here by Carol Matthews, which I think were given to me by my sister or my mum. And this one is Calling Mrs. Christmas. And this one is With Love at Christmas. And in this one, it includes Carol's top tips for surviving your own family Christmas. So even if you don't like the story, you may find those helpful. Again, I think they're basically chick lit, so it's chick lit at Christmas. I don't see anything wrong with that. It's something that'll make you happy, hopefully, unless you really, really can't stand chick lit. And this one is an anthology. It's the Great British Christmas, so it's a good one to dip into. This one could really generate a good festive spirit in you, I think. Like I say, you could dip into it. You don't have to sit down and read every single bit of it. There's some interesting bits and pieces in here. For instance, there is a part called the Christmas Cracker, which I am assuming is going to tell you all about the Christmas Cracker. There's the Christmas tree. So it will probably tell you a lot about the Christmas traditions, how we've celebrated Christmas. It does say that it goes during the past 2,000 years. There's also some well-known people throughout, including Charles Dickens, Samuel Pepys, and you can learn about Queen Victoria and Prince Albert spent their first Christmas together. Yeah, it's Mrs. Beeton's original Christmas cake, so you might get around to making that maybe if you read that one. And the next one is again another anthology which I've dipped in and out of once upon a Christmas. This is Memories and Recipes from your favourite celebrities. I'm not sure they'll be your favourite celebrities. I'm not sure they're mine, but It's got some interesting people in it. You have Paul Daniels, Gilly Goulding, Sally Gunnell, John Major, Patrick Moore, Molly Sugden, Anthea Turner, Terry Wogan, and this book must have a reasonable age to it because the foreword is by Diana, Princess of Wales. I have had it in my collection for a reasonable while now, so because I did actually buy it new, not second hand, so I probably bought it when it first came out. And these are just, like it says, stories from your favourite celebrities, apparently. But again, it's a good one to get to dip in and out of, and maybe just start to feel a little bit like Christmas is coming, because it'll be here sooner than you think. And this next one is actually another short story collection. It's just called Christmas Stories. It's an Everyman's Pocket Classics. So again, I think there's about 20 stories in here, and you're getting a good mix of authors that you've heard of, authors that you may not have heard of. You've got Charles Dickens, Arthur Conan Doyle, Anthony Trollope, Leo Tolstoy. So you've got a real mixture there. Truman Capote, Muriel Spark. So yeah, and again, because they're short stories, you can maybe just read one, put it down for a while, go and do something else, read something else, pretend that Christmas isn't happening, or it might just kick off your Christmas. And this one is one that I picked up in a charity shop for £1 this year. It's called The Christmas Box by Richard Paul Evans, and it's actually a story that was never meant to be published. He wrote it for his 2 young daughters, just to try and show them the depth of his feelings for them. And yeah, lucky for him, it was published. So it's probably quite a sweet story, I'd imagine. So it begins The Christmas Box, the touching story of a widow and her young family who moves in with her. Together they discover the first gift of Christmas and learn what Christmas is really all about. So I'm sensing a good dose of goodness in that. And this one is a Suffolk Christmas. Now, in case you can't tell from my accent, which I sincerely hope you can't, I actually come from Suffolk. So this seemed quite appropriate. I actually borrowed it from my parents. I think they know, although it was quite a long time ago, so they may have forgotten. But anyway, Mum, Dad, it's here, I have it. And this is, well, it's about Suffolk at Christmas. It's from various different people sharing different things. There's obviously places I recognise in here, such as Ipswich and Lowestoft. The Ipswich story is Ipswich drinking song, so that will be interesting. A Southwold Christmas, Yuletide at Debenham Vicarage. If you haven't been to Southwold, by the way, you really should go, because it's a lovely seaside town. It's not it gets very busy and very popular, but it's still quite quaint and old-fashioned, I guess. Snow for the holidays, that sounds good, because I would love some snow for the holidays. And no, not the last one, nearly the last one. Excuse me. This is the Yule Lads. I think it's meant to be a kids book. I picked it up at a boot sale. The reason I picked it up is firstly because I just really love the illustrations in it. I think they're quite cool. And the second is because it says a celebration of Iceland's Christmas folklore. And I'm very interested in Iceland, Sweden, Denmark, all Scandinavian traditions and countries. I'm not sure if it is a kid's book, but I think maybe it would be a nice one to read with your children if you have children. But I should be reading it by myself. And it's actually, I noticed at the top, it's actually labelled. Looks like, see, it says 13th of December, 14th of December. I think it actually starts from the 12th. So it might be quite interesting to read a page a day. And lastly is Santaland Diaries. Now this is a collection of 6 stories. It's basically, as it says, it's about being Santa, as in being Santa for the stores and things like that at Christmas. It's very funny. I seem to remember it might be a little bit rude in places. Excuse me. It was actually read on BBC Radio 4, so it can't be that rude. But it's another one because it's short. It's a good one to dip into, have a read, and then again pretend that Christmas isn't happening, or maybe it'll make you think that your Christmas could not be as bad as what's happening to these people. I don't know. So yeah, that's my to be read pile. Excuse me, my voice is going. And so if you like the video, obviously give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will be back in the new year to give you a bit more insight into some of the ones that I read, and I hope you're feeling a bit more Christmassy now. Bye.